I am completely in shock. Because this wasn't going to happen. As I mentioned when you talked to me before the award ceremony, I was fairly certain that I was not going to win. I am still catching up with circumstances. As other people have been saying, to be in company with Philip Pullman is amazing. Absolutely amazing. The Lie Tree is set on a fictional Channel Island in about 1868, and it's rather a closed community, the sort that doesn't actually like visitors very much, which is a shame because a family has just arrived there. And the head of this family is a famous natural scientist, the Reverend Erasmus Sunderling. Officially, he's come there with his family to help with a dig, but his 14-year-old daughter Faith suspects the family is actually running away from something. Then events take their course and the Reverend is found dead. The only person who believes that he has been murdered is Faith, and she starts to investigate. And as she does so, she discovers a tree, a little plant, but the one that could grow into a tree, that he's been incredibly paranoid and protective over. And looking through his notes, she discovers that, according to his notes, this is a tree that feeds on lies. So if you tell it a lie, and then get as many people as possible to believe that lie, it will bear a fruit. And if you eat the fruit, you learn an important secret. Well, the idea of the Lie Tree itself, that came first. And I don't know exactly what train of thought caused me to come up with that, but I know where I thought of it and when. I was actually going for a walk and I was halfway across Richmond Lock when I had this idea of this tree that fed on lies. And immediately I knew that this was something I could use. I had the kernel of a story, I just didn't know where it fitted. So I experimented and I tried coming up with alternative worlds, fantastical settings, trying to find some framework for it. And none of them really worked. And then Macmillan mentioned that they were interested in another historical fantasy novel. And I started thinking about it in those terms. And as soon as I thought about it in terms of the Victorian period, it clicked. It was as if it plugged in and found its place and developed resonance and emotional power. Well, there was basically received wisdom that the children's book doesn't win it. And statistically, well, only one children's book ever had. So, looking at that, that does affect one's hopes. Also, it had to be said, the competition was just looking amazingly strong. All of them looked like really good books. So I didn't fancy my odds. I think it's lovely to see all of these collected and judged as equals. Mind you, I don't envy the judges. That must be an impossible job. I can't imagine how I'd do it. I am already working on another book. It's going to be another YA book, still in relatively early stages with that. As for what the future holds, well, my plans for tomorrow are going to be slightly different than I expected by the sounds of it. I think I'd still have to go away to be in the same league as Philip Pullman, frankly. But being a fellow Costa winner with such a giant of children's literature does actually feel amazing.